I would imagine that everybody heard of the famous street in New York, Lower East Side, the Orchard Street. Orchard Street has many, many stores. The vendors keep their merchandise outside the sidewalk. And the prices are very good, the merchandise is very nice. When a person wants to get a bargain, a nice shirt, a nice sweater, a nice jacket, a nice hat, he goes to Orchard Street. A number of years ago, it was Friday afternoon, my wife and I came to Orchard Street, not because we wanted to buy a bargain to get something, because we just had to pass through this street in Lower East Side. And as we were walking on the street, so one vendor, storekeeper, comes over to me and says, "Young man, I have beautiful, beautiful shirts for you, very good prices. Why don't you come into the store and get yourself, choose some nice shirts, bargain prices." So I tell him, I like nice shirts, I like bargain prices, but not today. So why not? It's Friday afternoon. I'm here in Lower East Side in Manhattan. I have to get back to Brooklyn, to Crown Heights, to where I live. It's very short, a short time before the Sabbath, and I'm a Sabbath observant. So I cannot afford to spend any time here in your store, even though you're telling me that I get beautiful shirts for bargain prices. So he looks at me, puts his hand on my shoulder, says, "Young man, because of Sabbath, you forgo such a nice shirts and such a good prices?" Says, "Yes, indeed. For me, Sabbath is very important." He says, "Sabbath? Torah? God? Non-existent. Doesn't mean anything." So here I was challenged. I said, because I'm a Sabbath observant, to me it means very much. So I asked him, "Tell me, what do you mean the Sabbath is by you nothing? What do you mean God doesn't exist? On what basis do you say that?" So he takes his hand and bangs on his chest, and he says, "I was in Auschwitz. Anybody who experienced the atrocities, the barbarism in humanity in Auschwitz cannot believe anymore in God." And then he continues, he says, "Young man, if you would see what I've seen, you would say the same words what I say, no God, no Torah, and no Sabbath." So then I tell him, "My dear man, tell me, what did you see what I didn't see? What did you experience which I didn't experience?" So again, I was in Auschwitz. So I just pulled back my sleeve, opened up my shirt. Then it didn't take such a long time as now. Yeah. And I showed him my tattoo. I asked him, "Tell me, how old were you when you were in Auschwitz?" 22 years old. I was 10 years old. And I was in Auschwitz as a child of 10 years old. I was in the hands and the clutches of the angel of death, Dr. Mengele, twice. I was inside in the gas chamber. I was in 7 different death extermination camps, and I still believe in God. Ladies and gentlemen, when this person saw my tattoo, but he couldn't tell me it's not true what I'm saying to him. He saw my tattoo. This person became white, truly like my shirt. Pale. Went back into his office. He slumped down in his easy chair. And I followed him. Here I had a time because I wanted to discuss with him a little bit further concerning God, believing God, Emunah, Animamin, which we saw singing. We sang in Auschwitz, Animamin. But he was lost in his thoughts. immersed in his thoughts. I was waiting and waiting. I'll be able to speak with him, excuse me, but I couldn't. And it was late, getting late for the Sabbath. So we had to catch one bus, another bus to get back to Crown Heights, to Brooklyn. We left. And 6 weeks later, my wife and I had to be again on Orchard Street. So this time I said to my wife, let's go into the store and buy indeed nice shirts. And I'm sure she's going to give us again a good bargain price. However, when we came 6 weeks later, he wasn't there anymore. He sold his store. And a new vendor was in the store. I asked him what happened to the old one. He says he sold it to me. And where he went, I don't know what happened to him. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know myself what happened to him, but obviously something happened in his soul. He thought anybody besought this barbarism, this suffering, such a thing, such a tragedy never happened, not to the Jewish nation, not to no nation since the beginning of the world. 6 million innocent Jews, for no reason whatsoever. Why were they murdered? For what crime? Only for their race, but they were Jews. 1.5 million little children, innocent children. Indeed, some people can come to the conclusion that God either doesn't exist altogether, or he abandoned us. If he does exist, he doesn't care about the human race. It's below his dignity. It's up in the seventh heaven. And this was the view of this person. Once he saw a little boy in 7 different extermination camps, inside the gas chamber, in the hands of Mengele, the angel of death. And still he can say, Animamin, but you heard singing. I saw people walking into the gas chamber, holding hands, Animamin. I believe in God. So it must have done something to him. He sold the store. What happened to him, whether he made Aliyah, went to Israel or something else, I just don't know. But obviously, his mind changed. He couldn't, till now, he had his store open on the Sabbath. He didn't want to continue desecrating the Sabbath, which he told, what's Sabbath? So he sold the store, and what happened to him afterwards, I don't know. But anyways, I can tell you, God did not abandon us. Any survivor, and there are still thousands of survivors, continues to become less and less and less. But those who are still here, if you ask them, let them tell you their stories, immediately you'll come to the conclusion it wasn't a natural phenomenon, how they survived these different death camps, without food, sick, suffering. It's only by divine grace.